Alrighty guys, so since I am finally back from my little mini break, I guess, I was wanting to do this tier list once the 8th anniversary was over, just so we can rank, because we had a bunch of LRs, new summonable ones, and we had a bunch of EZA ones, so I wanted to redo my tier list for the time being. Again, I probably won't do these too much, just because I feel like I don't want to spam these like every month. I would only probably do them after like a bunch of LRs and stuff like that have came out. But the 8th anniversary introduced a bunch of new LRs, a bunch of new EZA to some LRs, and you know, some of them are pretty nice, as we're about to see in this video. So we're gonna go ahead and start off this tier list. So we're gonna be doing the top 10 LRs in this video. I will probably be doing Dokkan Fest TURs after hopefully I'm probably gonna do another summon video later today, so hopefully if I can pull God Goku, play around with him, see how he is, just so I can get a better grasp of how good he is and stuff like that, so that way we can rank him properly. So nonetheless, go ahead and start off this tier list. So at number 10 we have Beast Gohan. Actually, psych, I'm sorry, you thought me I was gonna put Beast Gohan in the top 10. Yeah, no, over my dead body. Actually, in top 10, we have, I feel like some people are gonna be a little bit triggered by this. Where is he? He was just here. Am I blind? Ooh, who am I gonna pick? Is it gonna be LR Janemba? No, actually, like, my board, I just had him. Oh, there he is, okay. So, number 10, now that we actually found him, it's cooler. Now, this is probably going to be one of the more controversial parts of the video, is me comparing this guy to Beast Gohan. Now, I'm going to just be straight up. This guy feels way more cohesive to me than Beast Gohan. I genuinely like this part of his passive way more than Gohan, like the building up defense and ki with attacks performed compared to Gohan's super attacks. Now I understand this guy has a lot of RNG. If he does not 12 key super, you might get caught and get destroyed with this guy defensively in the harder fights, but at the same time, it's the same thing with Gohan. If you don't get him 20 key, he doesn't do any additional supers and stuff like that. His guard runs out, you're dead if he's not fully built up by the time his guard runs out. And this guy, I feel like he has better like units that you can build the team around him, and you're not technically hurting yourself. Like, you know, EZA Cooler, AGL Golden Frieza, LR Metal Cooler, like those are all competent units that both help this guy and they don't hurt the team. It's not like, you know, Beast Gohan where you gotta run Goten, GT Goten and Trunks, or what's it called, AGL LR, or not AGL LR, AGL Kid Gohan. Like, you don't have to do all that. So this is why I have Cooler up here. Also, his active skill hits way harder than Gohan's. Like, the only thing Gohan has is I think Gohan's a guaranteed crit. But this Cooler, if you have dupes of him or anything like that, you will build him full crit anyways, so he will do pretty good damage regardless. So that is my reasoning. I'm always down to discuss and stuff like that, so obviously, if you disagree with any of my placements in this video, I'm more than willing to discuss, as long as it's, you know, constructive and not just calling me an idiot or something like that. Like, I probably won't respond to stuff like that, but, you know, I'm always down to discuss. Maybe you'll change my mind. You never know. Just, you know, let me know how you feel, and we'll talk about it. But that's what I have for number 10. So, next on the list, we have the Int LR Gohan from the 8th anniversary. So this guy right here, honestly, like, he seemed really good when I first read his details, just because, you know, he greatly stacks attack, he stacks defense, he has this damage reduction against the enemy when he 18 keys, he builds up defense with every attack received, like, all this stuff. The only problem with this guy, I would say, is I would say his biggest problem, honestly, is his links. Like, these are just outright garbage links. Like, he does not have any key links. It just kind of sucks like that. It is like that. Another thing is this guy's best partner is, you know, the AGL Goku, but as it stands right now, they do not share a 200% team together. Like, whenever that ends up happening, this guy will probably be way better, because you'll be able to have him next to the Goku, because this Gohan is a slot 2 unit, so the Goku can be a slot 1, or, no, this guy is a slot 2, Goku is slot 1, so if we can get a team where it's a 200% and you can run both of these guys together, this would make him way better, because they share 5 out of 7 links, I think, and they share a bunch of defense and stuff like that between their links, so like they would link up really good. Goku would activate his you know, one of his units super attacks, so overall is like, it would be great if you can do that, but they just don't share a 200% team. So like that just kind of leaves it where this guy also, I would say after this guy's intro runs out, his defense drops quite a bit compared to the Goku. The Goku, at least, like, I feel like after especially after you get the 5 hits on him where he builds up that 59% defense, his defense shoots up so high that like he is pretty good. And the Goku has the Ki Blast nullification, so, or counters on nullification, my bad. So like this guy's not bad, I just feel like they just did not give him help in the link department, or and he also just doesn't have the greatest partners, but obviously base kit is pretty good, so it's not like, I would say like he can definitely get new partners in the future and he will become really good, but as it stands right now, I have him at number 9 at my list just because he's not the greatest. Like you putting this guy on a team with all the other good characters, you're probably gonna hurt the team more than help, so that's just my opinion. So next on the list we have Tech Super Saiyan Bird Goku, or as some people like to call him, Birdku. Now, not a lot really has changed with this guy ever since he came out. He is just phenomenal, I would say. We all know what he does. He gets he's guarding, and when you drop below 59% HP, he doesn't guard, but when you drop below 59% HP, you have the revive, so it's not really the biggest of deals on the turns where he loses his guard, because like you can just revive, so it's not that big of a deal. And then when you do revive with this character, he ends up getting permanent guard, so it's not like, oh, you know, he could be fragile after your revive, like, no. He does have this active skill. I would say this is kind of a rare active skill. It does pretty good damage, not the greatest, but you know, it does pretty good damage for what it is. It has the nullification at the start of turn, so this is like one of the better nullifications, I would say. Obviously he's a Super Saiyan Goku, so his links are phenomenal. He's on a bunch of teams, like, again, him having all these links helps him link up pretty good. Stacks defense on 8. Like, this is my only gripe with him, maybe, is sometimes, I mean, like, I would definitely say this is probably a skill issue on my part, but sometimes you can't get the 18 key. This is mainly when I'm like running a team where everybody wants to get like 24 keys. So I was like, if I end up getting a rotation of like this guy, the GT duo, and like someone else who also wants 18 or 24 key, and let's just say this guy is at the end of the rotation per se or something like that, I might not have enough key for him. However, if you run this guy on rotation, I feel like you will be able to get him 18 key pretty consistently. He is just basically like a wall. Like, he is kind of like similar to Vegeta and Trunks. I just feel like Vegeta and Trunks build up a little bit more and are just slightly better, just because, you know, they have a better leader skill, and their leader skill is absolutely phenomenal. So like that's why I think Vegeta and Trunks is better than this guy. I know some people put this guy better than them, but I'm personally a bigger fan of Vegeta and Trunks. So next on the list is this guy's actually this guy's best linking partner. It's AGL LR Gohan. Now, I've seen a lot of people, I guess, ever since this guy came out on Global, I think, because, you know, a lot of times when a unit comes out on Global, like, there's a new spark in debate, like, even if it's been a while since the unit came out, just because, like, you know, a lot of new people get him, and, you know, they voice their concerns or whatever. So The main complaint I've seen with this guy is that he can lose his guard quite easily in like difficult events. And it's like if you have not gotten a bunch of stacks with him, if he loses his guard on his like second appearance, or you could even lose it on your first appearance, he will get cooked. And I agree. I definitely agree. I'm not gonna disagree with that. You definitely do not want to try. You want to try not to lose the guard until you've at least gotten quite a few stacks. However, he does triple super, or he can just triple super basically, like guaranteed, as long as you know your HP is 58% or higher. So if you can at least get one turn where he triple supers, and let's say the next turn he's not guarding, obviously he's not going to tank the super attack, but he can tank normals, I would say, because his defense will be at like 300, 400k. And then, the active skill condition, I've seen a lot of people say that it is not that easy to get this. I would say, like, yeah, you can it definitely could be a issue, but I feel like if you just kind of keep it in mind, like, oh, hey, I'm going into Cell Max, or oh, hey, I'm going into the, Cell Red Zone. Or if you're not going into one of those, like, you know, AGL or AGL Broly Red Zone, you can bring stuff like, you know, the tech androids. The tech androids, especially, I would say, are pretty good units. You can run them on Vegeta and Trunks' team because they lead Future and Bond Parent Child, so you can run them on that team and just float them every rotation. And if you get a rotation where there's a lot of attacks at the end, guess what? They have their little Ghost Usher ability, so you don't have to worry about them. You're basically just bringing them to not die, and then if you get a turn where the attacks are not the greatest with them, you just Ghost Usher with them, and then they will unlock this part of the passive for you. Now, again, when you get this guy out, it's basically game over. Like, it does not matter what boss you're going up against. This guy comes out, you have him linked to a Super Saiyan Goku or something like that, it's over. He absolutely annihilates nearly every single boss in the game. When we get higher up in the list, we're gonna see units that basically do what this guy does, just turn one, so or like way earlier than him, so that's why other units on the list are better. But yeah, when you get this guy out, he is absolutely insane in my opinion, so that's why I have him where I have him. So number 6 is the Kai Goku. Now, honestly, I had to kind of think about this for quite a while, because I honestly did not know where I want to place this guy, because, like, I've had runs where, you know, this guy gets a bunch of stacks, or, you know, gets his stacks in, we build up this part of his passive, the additional 59% defense. Like, I don't really care about the attack. His attack is not the greatest, obviously. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. Like, this dude, I have a dupe in him, full level 10 links. The max I've seen him hit for before he gets this part of his passive is like 4 mil, which is obviously horrible. Now, yes, when you get this off, his attack set jumps to like 12, which is, you know, pretty damn good. You honestly really want to try to get this activated before you toss out the Spirit Bomb, because the Spirit Bomb will do so much more damage if you have this active. But again, sometimes that's just not possible, so I mainly just care about getting this defense part up, because when you get this part of his defense shoots up like almost 300, 400k. And if you can get this up while he still has his guard, which is for 6 turns, like him guarding with like 700k defense, and you know, he's still gonna stack every turn, he is completely fine in slot 1. Like, he can tank everything. Categories in like links and categories could be better. As you can see here, like, he does link up pretty good with the Gohan, but as I said, they don't share a 200% team. It would be great if they do, because they would share a bunch of these links, like all in the family, like all this defense that they're getting from being next to each other, stuff like that. So it'll be interesting once they get a 200% team together. But yeah, I've had runs where this guy absolutely dominates, like completely destroys everything. I've had runs where this guy got me killed. Like, so I'm a little bit hesitant about this placement, so This is definitely one that you can honestly argue me to put lower or put higher. Because I just had such a fluctuation with this guy just because of the fact sometimes if you just don't get this built up before the guard runs out, it can be a little rough. So nonetheless, next on the list we have these guys. So this has also been kind of a heated debate recently in the community from what I've seen. I've seen a lot of people, people who put them like at 6 or 7. I've seen people who don't even put them in the top 10. Then I've seen people who are like, no, these guys are top 3, you guys are crazy. Like, if you don't have them top 3 or like top 2, you just don't know how to play the game, yada yada yada. So, my take on these guys, so as the way that difficult content is structured right now, right? It is, I wouldn't really say it's like short based, but it's not long. Like, I would say red zone usually lasts around like 6 to 8 turns, right? So what I think these guys need is they need an event where at the bare minimum it's 15 turns. At the bare minimum. That's what these guys need. If we can get that at some point, these guys will shoot up on my list. But that's just a problem with these guys right now, is with all these events being kind of short term and the bosses hitting pretty hard right away, these guys get caught turn 1. Like, even if you get a quad stack with them, like, the only way I think they can kind of survive turn 1, which is something that's not going to happen, I would say a lot of the times, is there has to be no attacks in slot 1, like in the very first slot. Like, there could be attacks after they attack, so you put them in slot 1 so they get the extra 100% defense right here, and then you'll be able to get them up to 24 key. So that way they can triple super from their passive, and then they can maybe quad super with their hidden potential system. I think with that and the extra defense from slot 1, they'll be fine turn 1. But again, if there's any attacks at the beginning and you try to put these guys in slot 1, you're dead. That's it. Like, you're just dead. Because I've had multiple runs where I had them in slot 2 and they quad supered and they still took damage from normals. Like, that very first turn is very, very concerning. Like, there is also a situation where, like, the very first turn you get them, you're already below 50% HP. Which, if you are in that situation, and you just want them to be good defensively, you can just exchange. And then this Vegeta is the best defensive unit in the game, because you just, Heat Rainbow Orb changes, he guards, you give him a bunch of orbs, he gets 8% damage reduction, boom, he's fine. He is like a little bit more fragile just because if you transform into him instantly without any stacks, he's going to be a little bit fragile, but I feel like as long as you give him the orbs, it doesn't matter if he has 0 stacks. I think he will be good enough to tank and stuff like that. At least, like, he might not tank every boss for absolute 0, but he will tank good enough for you to live. So this unit, I would say, is just a very situational unit. Again, if these guys get an event where it lasts a very long amount of time and all that stuff, they will be way better. I would put them probably in the top 3 if something like that happens, but as it stands right now, the units above them, in my opinion, just do not, like, actually, I'm gonna move them up 1 slot, now that I think about it, but the units above them just do it better. So now, just because I said I was gonna move them up 1 slot, so I did have Vegeta and Trunks next, but now that I actually think about it, I'm gonna actually put them at 4, and I'm gonna put Vegeta and Trunks at 5. So that's how we're gonna do it. So Vegeta and Trunks, I love this unit. I'm just gonna say this might honestly be a biased placement. I don't know how other people place these guys in the community. I've seen some people say like they wish this unit was never made, just because, like, I guess these did not want the best unit in the game to be a moment where, you know, they shoot the Gala gun and Merge the Monster just kind of laughs it off, you know. Which, I mean, you know, makes sense, but it does not matter when this unit is still absolutely phenomenal. You know, and then the other main complaint I've seen with this unit is that the fact that you cannot run this unit anywhere other than slot 1. I feel like that is half true, half lie, because if you look here, they get the guard for the first 5 turns when you get the intro off, right? Or not when you get the intro off. When they start off the battle with a bond parent and child, they'll guard for the first 5 turns. So for the first 5 turns from when you get them, so if you get them on turn 2, you have all the way until turn 7 to run this unit wherever you want. You do not have to put them in slot 1 until turn 7. So honestly, like, if you get this unit at the very start and you don't want them on that rotation, you can float them off. Because even by the time you'll get them back, it'll still be turn 5. And then, you know, on that turn, you can even run them in slot 2 if you really wanted to. It's just when you get them for the 3rd time, which would be turn 7, that's when you're going to have to put them in slot 1. So I've seen a bunch of people say, like, oh, you can put this unit anywhere other than slot 1. So that kind of makes them ass because, you know, they're not like Bird Coup where you can just move him to any slot and he'll guard and be good defensively and all that. Like, so I personally just feel like that is, again, just, you can still play around it and be pretty good about it. I've also noticed that, like, honestly, these guys, even without guard, they're not gonna tank a boss's super attack. But if you have them fully built up, like you ended up using, like, you use these first 5 turns to build them up, get them hit, and then they, you know, you give them a bunch of stacks, like, even when their guard runs out and you have to run them in a different slot, as long as they don't get super attacked, they'll be fine. Like, they'll tank double-digit normals. They just can't, they won't tank double digits, super attacks. And then lastly, they have this active skill that I still feel like is pretty damn stupid. Because it's a guaranteed crit, does pretty good damage because they stack attack and it's a guaranteed crit. And then they give an active skill defensive buff to everybody. So, I don't know. I've used this active skill has saved me from losing so many different times. So I just personally, I love this unit a lot. And, you know, the cherry on top is Lynx. Even though this is kind of like a duo unit, and I would say usually duo units and stuff like that are kind of wonky, this unit has honestly very, very good links. And, you know, they lead, I would say, one of the best teams in the game. I feel like with the addition of God Goku, I think the superhero team is probably like, I think Piccolo's team is probably the best team in the game now, but these guys' team, like the Bond Parent Child team, is actually stupid, so that's why I have them where I have them. Next on the list, so, number 3. This might also be a controversial take here, so we have the Year 5 fusions. So yeah, we're gonna be putting them together. I know a lot of people, put, like, Vegito above Gogeta, and while I can definitely see your point with that, I just personally feel like a lot of the times when you're using these guys to the best potential of teams, a lot of times I feel like you're going to use these guys as floaters. So as floaters, they serve, or they're going to do pretty much the same purpose, because, you know, in base, when you float them, they guarantee double super, they get a 70% chance to dodge, yada yada yada, you know, they'll stack attack, stack defense, and then when you get them to blue, and you put them in the 3rd slot of the rotation, Vegito obviously will still do more attacks, because he's gonna have 2 guaranteed supers, so this Vegito can quad super. Meanwhile, Gogeta, transformed in slot 3, can only triple super up, like, and that's because Gogeta's basically losing the extra super that Vegito has, because Gogeta is super effective against all types. And then, you know, when you get them against 24 Ki, Vegito gets another super, Gogeta gets guaranteed crits. Now yes, Vegito I would say is better defensively. However, again, when you're running them in slot 3, both of them are dodging, or have the 70% chance to dodge. So I like, there is a difference. I'm not disagreeing that Vegito is better. I'll go ahead and just say it now that Vegito is better. But it's not, I feel like, a big enough difference for me to separate them. Especially since a lot of times, a lot of people will run these guys together if they absolutely want to, like on rotation, stuff like that. And I feel like when you do that as well, like, it's just, both of them are just gonna annihilate the boss. It doesn't matter who exactly is doing it. The boss is just gonna die. And then, you know, both of them have these active skills that hit very hard, and you can do the whole active skill gimmick thing with them, which will make them go absolutely crazy. So yeah, I will agree that Vegito is better when they become blue. In base, they are literally the same unit. In my opinion, you cannot tell me that they're not. But it's just, again, I don't think it's a big enough difference for me to actually put them in an entire different spot. Sorry. So, this is where I have them, is at number 3. And then I'm just going to go and put the last 2 units. So, number 2 we have Piccolo, and then number 1 we have the Super Saiyan 4. Oh, okay, I guess I'm not going to sneeze. Never mind, there was... It faked me out there for a second. It gave me a little dodge animation, but it came back around and smacked me. Anyways, so yeah, these are the last 2 units on the list. So let's go and just put them there, and then we'll talk about why I have them there. I mean, this is probably the part of the video a lot of people are going to click off, because I mean, you don't really need that much explanation to know why these guys are good. Now, I guess the interesting thing that I want to say right away is, if you have Piccolo at number 1, I do not disagree. And I honestly, like, you know, if you have him at number 1, cool, man. Like, you know, it is what it is. Like, he is that guy. This guy is just insane. Like, like, I don't know. He is, especially with the STR movie Piccolo from the Cooler movie, he just annihilates. Also, recently Super 17 got in his AZA, and he defensive supports. I've seen screenshots of like this guy on rotation with the STR Piccolo, and then like Super 17 as well. You know, fully built up, and he still has his intro up. He's at like 1.2 million defense before supering. He gets 50% defense on super. So this guy is at like almost 2 million defense with guard and 20% damage reduction. So like, he cannot be hurt. Like, no unit in the game can hurt this guy. And again, even if his intro buff does run out, I feel like, again, just him fully built up, even without guard, like, he cannot be hurt half the time. Like, he is that guy. And then the main elephant in the room, I feel like a lot of people that are, a lot of people have been kind of debating on this, if you should factor this into his placement. I don't really care if you do or don't, is his active skill. So, the way Dokkan works, the boss can only super up to so many times in one turn, right? You know, some bosses super 2 times, some bosses super 3 times, some bosses just super 1 time. Now, when you transform into giant form, this doesn't necessarily have to be Orange Piccolo. This can be any giant form character. When you transform into giant form, the turn freezes per se. Like if you were on turn 6, you can go into Orange Piccolo, and then if Orange Piccolo, let's just say you do 3 turns of Orange Piccolo, when you come back to normal Piccolo, it is not going to be turn 9. It is still going to be turn 6. Which is why, when you go into Orange Piccolo, and you know, the boss is most likely going to super you, when you come back into Power Awakening Piccolo, since it is still technically the same turn and the boss already supered, you know 100% that, you know, that turn, the boss is not going to super. Like, you don't have to worry about him supering, because that's just how it is. It is technically a bug, I would say, but at the same time, it is kind of how the game is coded. So I don't know if they will go out of their way to remove this or fix this, but for the time being, it is here, and I would dare say this makes him pretty damn even better, because I would say one of the prime examples of this is if we go to superhero team. If you have a rotation of Gamma 1, where is Gamma 1? I need to find him. If you have a rotation of Gamma 1 in slot 1, and then Gamma 2 in slot 2, and then you have the Piccolo floating, you're probably worried about Gamma 2 getting super, right? Like, Gamma 1 can hold his own, but Gamma 2 could get caught. You have Orange Piccolo floating. You transform into Orange Piccolo, do your little bit of damage with Orange Piccolo, and then when you come back into the turn, you don't have to worry about Gamma 2 getting supered, because he's not going to super that turn. And you can do this for any other rotation. Like, it's kind of like a Baba effect, like that Baba item effect. So any rotation where you might have a unit on there that you're worried might get super attacked, if you can transform with Orange Piccolo, then you just transform with Orange Piccolo, and then, you know, you don't have to worry about that unit super attacking anymore. So it's just like bada bing, bada boom. Like, it's that easy. So I personally, like, again, some people say it's a bug and stuff like that, and I personally agree that, you know, it is kind of a little bit of a bug that might get fixed in the future. But again, as it stands right now, it is not fixed, and it is very much still in the game. So again, if you have this guy at number 1, I am not going to disagree with you, but I have these guys at number 1 because I am biased to GT. I love GT. I am and, you know, it's not like just because of that. This unit is just insane. Basically what these guys do is, these guys are pretty much the same unit as the other 8th anniversary LR, pretty much the same as these guys, but I would say since these guys build up damage reduction compared to the other LR building up crits, this damage reduction is way more important, because, like, once you get, like, you know, again, these guys are also, like, fragile the first turn. The only difference is these guys are fragile if you put them in slot 1. After these guys super, even their very first turn, like, if you put them in slot 2, like, honestly, if you just give them 18 keys so they can at least super attack twice, they'll be fine. And then once you finally get this 50% damage reduction fully built up, they cannot be hurt, because, again, they get defense on every single one of their supers. They can triple super if you give them 24 key, and they have 50% damage reduction. So this unit is rocking, like, a lot of times, like, 600k defense with 50% damage reduction. They can't die. And then if you do get on a turn where either this, I mean, I don't think this unit will really be one of the units that will get you killed, but if you're on a rotation, like during the last couple stages of fight, and you are in a situation where there are a unit or two on the rotation that can get you killed, guess what? You have this guy in your back pocket. And then I feel like the condition to get this guy out is a little bit better, because it still has the 50% HP or less, but these guys have to take 4 hits. In my personal experience, the 4 hits are a little bit more manageable than the 4 super attacks that you have to do with these guys in order to exchange. But that is just my personal opinion. You know, some people might have different experiences. However, it's just, you get this guy out. This is, like, honestly the dumbest unit in the game, in my opinion. Like, this is just so stupid. He's not a good defensive unit, obviously. He's honestly designed to die. However, he basically dies with a bang, because he gives all your other units this support right here, which, you know, if you have other LRs on the rotation, this translates into, oh hey, I'm giving everybody guaranteed 24 key, and I'm also shooting up their attack stat by, like, I don't know, 5 mil, something like that. And then, you know, you're most likely gonna die on that rotation, but, you know, you're gonna revive with 100% HP, and then you're gonna toss probably one of the most damaging super attacks in being the Universal Spirit Bomb, because these guys stack attack. So if you get a bunch of attack stacks with these guys, and then you transform into this guy, not only, like, you're gonna do a bunch of damage with the other units, you're guaranteeing your safety, you're guaranteeing you living. but you're gonna do a bunch of damage with the other units of the rotation, and then you're gonna cap it off with damage from this unit. So like a lot of times you might just kill the boss, but even if you don't kill the boss, you're just gonna revive with 100% health, and you'll go into the next rotation. So obviously he is a very good like clutch slash like, you know, unit that you can just like an ace in the hole type unit where you can just hold on to him until you absolutely need him. You know, you're on a turn where you're gonna die and you really need someone to save you. Basically, you pull this guy out, and then he basically just wins the fight for you. So this is my list here. This is my final looks on it. I don't think I would change anything. Yeah, because I did have these guys up here, but I just changed that midway through the video. So this is probably where I would have everything, honestly. And also, I mean, if you've made it this far in the video, but I highly doubt you have if you watched the first part, just to, you know, not to piss off the Beast Gohan people, I'll put Beast Gohan at number 10. Psych, I got you again. You really thought I would put Beast Gohan in slot 10. Anyways, but yeah, this is my list here. Let me know what you guys think. Again, I'm willing to discuss any points. Let me know if I've been that type of person to completely forget about some other units or forget about some things from units' passives. So you could honestly convince me to switch any of these in my places. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys would put these units in any other places, what your guys' tier lists look like. And pretty much, yeah. Love you guys. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.